Howdy, I'm Representative Will Hurd, born and raised in San Antonio, Texas, and I'm asking the great people of the 23rd Congressional District of Texas to send me back to Congress so I can continue to fight for them.
My name is Gina Ortiz Jones, and I'm the Democratic nominee for Texas's 23rd Congressional District. I know that my country, my community invested in me and allowed me to go on to serve our country in national security for 14 years.
Well, I spent 9.5 years as an undercover officer. I was the guy in the back alleys at 4 o'clock in the morning collecting intelligence on threats to our homeland.
I fundamentally understand that national security starts with a strong middle class.
And I've gotten more bills signed into law than the last couple of guys that have represented this district combined. The first time I got elected, everybody was asking, how did a black dude get elected in a Hispanic district?
This is a district that I think is interesting microcosm for the entire country.
This is the only truly 50-50 district in Texas.
You've got 2 large population centers on either side.
29 counties, 2 time zones.
You know, many of the national issues that are playing out are happening in this district immediately.
If you do not represent the entire district, then yes, you're going to be vulnerable.
I am going to represent this district in a way in which it deserves. You know, when I talk to voters, though, it does come up that this representative, Will Hurd, has voted over 95% of the time with Trump.
I agree when I agree, and I disagree when I disagree.
You know, you can't say that, that you're trying to distance yourself from him when your voting record shows that you're lockstep.
The president's not my boss. The Speaker of the House is not my boss. It's the 800,000 people that I represent. Building a 30-foot high concrete structure from sea to shining sea is the most expensive and least effective way to do border security.
I think it's clear that a border wall would be ineffective. It would also be a huge waste of resources.
We should be thinking about a smart wall. We should be using more technology.
People know that if you really want to secure this district and communities, you invest in smart, healthy kids, not a smart wall.
I have a Glock.
I don't own any guns.
Well, I'm a proud supporter of the Second Amendment.
As a veteran, I understand. I've seen firsthand how dangerous these weapons can be.
But I also believe our kids should not be afraid when they go into school.
So yes, I support safer gun laws because this is becoming a public safety issue.
That's why I was proud to work with Senator Cornyn and get legislation passed in Washington, D.C., get signed into law to ensure that people that shouldn't have access to guns don't.
I think who you take money from reflects your values, which is why I have chosen to deliberately not accept political contributions from corporate PACs.
I'm taking money from political action committees who have given to me this cycle. I actually don't know. You can go on the FEC and figure that information out.
And I have obviously also said I'm not going to take any money from the gun lobby. My opponent cannot say the same.
They are Americans. They are contributing to our culture, our economy, our society. These are workers that we need, especially when you're at 3.8% unemployment.
I would argue part of the reason we're in the challenge that we are as it relates to immigration is because, you know, he voted to defund DACA, which would have immediately begun the deportation of our dreamers.
What I say to that is, see all my previous statements on the wall in DACA. There's only one bipartisan piece of legislation in Washington trying to bring a permanent legislative fix to this solution. I speak some Spanish. I'm not fluent.
Un poquito.
Could you deliver a message to your constituents in Spanish?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it would depend on how long it is.
I would say, you know, yo soy un latino en mi corazón.
Matthew McConaughey is famously from Uvalde.
That's right. That's right.
Do you have a best McConaughey impression?
Wow. I'm not very good with impressions.
I'm not going to do this one justice.
What's the phrase he always says?
All right, all right, all right.
All right, all right, all right. I think that's the closest you're going to be able to get to. My hair is getting longer than it usually is, so maybe, you know, my curly hair is a little closer to him.
All right, all right, all right.